All right, folks, welcome to the runningrestaurants.com podcast, where we bring you the tips, tools, and techniques you need to make your restaurant more profitable and successful. I'm your host, Jamie Oikel. Today, got a great episode for you with Brett Campbell, co-founder and CMO at Loma, which is a platform to help restaurants with local marketing. So I always love talking about marketing, so I'm looking forward to this. Brett, welcome. Tell me a little bit about your background and about the company. We'll dig in from there.
Yeah. Hey, Jamie, thanks for having me. So I've been in the restaurant QSR space for almost 30 years now, and really have had the chance to work with multiple organizations at different sizes. So I've gotten to understand the larger groups, multi-unit groups like Papa John's, for example, with 5,000 units, down to multi-unit groups that have 200 and less units. So understanding sort of the diversity and the different needs based off of just the size of the brand, but also have been a franchisee. So did a short stint as a franchisee. So understand that side of the business as well. And so, all of that to create a platform that helps marketers that are in that space. And so that's what Loma was created to do, and leveraging that experience. And now we have a product that we've launched about 2 months ago that we're super excited about.
Okay. All right. Well, that part I didn't know. We chatted only a little bit, but I didn't realize it was so new. So tell me about going from the systematized background of franchises, knowing about brands. I'm assuming that that's really a lot of mentality, is understanding that systems need to be in place and you guys are delivering a marketing system. Is that kind of derivation?
Yeah, exactly. So, my experience has been across the board from a marketing capacity. I've understand the creative side, the brand side, but spent a lot of my time in the field marketing side, where you're the connection between the corporate marketing team and the franchisee. And so, what happens in that space is there's a lot of different tools that are used in each of those different sort of categories. However, field marketing has zero tools. And so using that as a sounding board or a starting off place, we created the Loma platform to really help the local store marketers and really drive success and sales and awareness to the local units in executing local store marketing activities inside of their immediate trade area. And so I can go into the details of the tool and what that looks like. But overall, having that background of understanding the various disciplines and then choosing sort of the field marketing discipline as where I wanted to live most of my career, and then understanding the different tools. If you think about, from a digital perspective, you have agencies that are helping buy digital. You've got from a loyalty perspective, you've got platforms like Punch that help manage your loyalty, programs. From a creative perspective, you've got project management tools like Monday or, Asana, for example. However, in the field marketing space, there really is nothing that helps you. You leverage Excel for the most part. You create flow charts and marketing plans on Excel. You try to communicate to franchisees, hey, here's a plan you might want to use to help you drive sales, and you send it to them in Excel. There's really a lack of tools in that space, and that's where Loma was founded.
Let's go to a couple of definitions, because I want to define things a little bit more. Like, so when you say local store marketing, when you say field marketing, what are some more deep ways to understand that stuff?
Yeah, so field marketing is a discipline inside of the marketing department that really focuses on, you're sort of the liaison between the corporate marketing team and the brand and the field, so the franchisees. And you're really trying to communicate what is happening from a brand perspective. If there's new creative, new promotions, you're making sure that's executed at the local level. Depending upon the size of the brand, there's different sort of setups, if you will. Larger brands will have, obviously, you think of sort of 3 layers. You have a national advertising or system-wide advertising layer. Then you can have co-ops where locations will form a co-op to get to pool their dollars to have more efficiency and buy media at the market level. And then you've got obviously the marketing that needs to happen in the trade area right around the individual location. And so field marketing helps really manage all three of those layers. So a communication perspective from what's happening system-wide to make sure the franchisees are informed, executing. Usually field marketing teams are executing all the media or managing the agencies who might be buying the media at the market level and really communicating that back to the franchisees that are involved at that market level.
Right.
And then helping individual franchisees at the local trade area level. So really having one-on-one conversations, understanding maybe some of the dynamics that are happening around that location. It could be the site is in a very good spot. Could be there's construction happening, and so sales are down. It could be competition has come into the marketplace, and so trying to create a competitive marketing plan. So you really take a one-on-one approach when you're talking to franchisees about how to specifically help them in that location. And that's really the space that Loma lives in, is going down to that individual location and really trying to create a diversified marketing plan for that specific location. And so what we've done is we've created a platform that is almost like an Amazon marketing shopping experience where a franchisee can come in or an actual marketing team can come into the platform. Let's take the franchisee, for example. He or she comes into the platform. It's an Amazon-like shopping experience where they go into our marketplace and it's got a laundry list of local marketing vendors. So vendors that are focused on driving sales in the local trade area. So it could be vendors that do phone outreach to schools and say, hey, we're right around the corner. We'd love to send you some certificates to give to the kids as rewards, et cetera, et cetera. So you've also got vendors that reach out directly to businesses. Say you're trying to push maybe large orders or catering. They can talk to businesses. Hey, do you do catering? Yes, we do. Great. We'd love to get your information and send you more information about from the brand. And so you've got print or every door direct mail vendors in this marketplace. We've got fundraising vendors in the marketplace. So they're all sort of focused on schools and community. And so it's a really unique space, but we've tried to create it in such a way that it makes it super easy for the franchisee. They come into the marketplace just like they would Amazon. They make a couple clicks. They choose the tactics that they want to execute. There's an order form, an order page. So you get all the details that are then transferred over to the vendor. The vendor executes once it's paid for. So there's a shopping cart experience and they pay for it. That's transitioned over to the vendor. The vendor executes and then pushes their information back to our platform. So the KPIs and the results of what they did are there for the franchisee to see at the end of the actual program. So it's a pretty unique space. They, franchisees in their own right have, as any restaurant owner does, wears many hats, and so they're working on obviously scheduling, they're working on placing orders, they're working on just managing the business. And so a lot of times the marketing components come last, and they know that they need to drive sales. They know they need marketing, but they don't know what to do or how to do it. And so a lot of times, like brands at the marketing department will give them how-tos. They'll say, hey, here's some how-tos on how to do this, but they don't help them do it, right? They kind of leave it up to the individual owner. And so a lot of times the owners just don't do it, or they try it once and it didn't work or what have you. And so what we've created is an opportunity for the franchisee to come directly in, place the orders, have them be executed on their behalf, and then they get the results. And so it's really hands off from them. And so now they know that this is happening in their community, and they don't have to actually spend time curating all the activities and managing all the activities. That's done through the platform.
That's what I was thinking the most as you were talking about it, is the idea of hitting the button, shopping, which we're all familiar with. And I like how you mentioned Amazon experience, because people are so comfortable doing that. But everything you talked about wasn't really easy to do for operators historically. Yeah, you have a vendor that makes calls, or you can find a list of all the schools in your area and you can do that yourself. But man, what you just hit on is that's overwhelming, and it wants to get done, but it doesn't get done. So really interesting to build that into a platform. And we talked briefly before we started, we have school age kids, and we didn't talk about my younger daughter. We talked about some of my older ones, but my youngest one, oh my gosh, they're doing stuff all the time, fundraising locally with some businesses. And I know that draws folks in. Let's live there for a second. Do you find those school ones and, the fundraiser nights really there ends up being fundraiser nights. How are those working for folks?
They work great. I think that's the type of advertising / marketing that is sticky. I think people that are in that space and that they're talking to, they're supporting their kids, they're working with those brands. So that's resonating with where they are in their current state. And so that's pretty important. And you think about all the different layers of advertising from, typical traditional media where you see TV or radio or billboards to digital and just the crowded space in digital to e-blast, the hundreds of emails that you get in your inbox on a daily basis versus you going to support your child by participating on a fundraising night at a brand. Now that is super sticky and resonates really, really well. So now not only is that family connected to the brand, but there's an emotional connection, as marketers love these emotional connection type of ideas that have happened because of that sort of community engagement. LOMA is short for local marketing. And, what we've decided to do is really focus inside of this space, this community oriented space, because of the huge opportunity we think there is. I think it's important to diversify what you're doing in that space. So you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. So here's a great example. In our marketplace, let's say you're trying to drive your catering business and we have multiple vendors that can hit that B2B space in different ways. So we have a vendor in our marketplace that calls the business and talks to somebody. We've got a vendor in the marketplace that sends them the HR director a gift pack where they hand out information to everyone in the company. We've got a vendor that sends emails directly to people working in the businesses. So you can see the diversification that can happen based off of the tactics to try to really reinforce not only the brand awareness, but what the brand is trying to do. And that's through hitting people in their business through multiple ways. And so, that's where we want this diversification in our marketplace to really sort of create more opportunities. So a brand can come into the marketplace. Not only can the franchisee come in and order directly, but a brand marketing team can come in and create plans for their locations. So they can set up plans. Let's say they have bottom 10 locations that are underperforming and they need certain tactics that they want to do. They can set up plans for them. They can set up plans for their entire system. Let's say back to school's coming up and there's a vendor that sends these gift packs to schools. They can push that out to their entire system as what we call an opt-in, where the franchisee can choose to opt into it. They simply pay for it by credit card through our platform, and then it gets executed on their behalf. And so, a system can really diversify how they use the platform based off of their needs.
Yeah, the one thing I particularly like there that you talked about is if folks say, hey, what's one marketing that I can do that's going to change my traffic this week? Well, it's probably not one thing, right? So you talked about a variety of ways to attract traffic. In this case, you gave the catering example. And yeah, not one solution is always going to work. So hitting folks from multiple angles is great. What about, let's go to digital options. What in your platform or what do you suggest folks do locally, digitally? Because again, overwhelming number of options, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snap, Do you guys get involved in those? What's going on?
We can. We do have some digital vendors inside of our platform. Nextdoor, for example, is pretty unique in what they do in the community. So it fits inside of our sort of strategy. We really, we don't look at those social platforms as options inside of our marketplace, just because typically brands are managing those differently. They're managing those directly through agencies, or they have resources that are managing them themselves. So it's a space that's sort of tapped or checked off in their mind, where this local marketing space typically when we're talking to brands is something that they need to capitalize on. They say, yes, we want to play in the space. We just don't have the resources or the time. It's just too much for us right now. And so that seems to be a real niche that we're going after and trying to solve.
Yeah. Let's go to Nextdoor for a second, because if folks haven't heard of them, they may want to. I use Nextdoor, but only, I would say, it's there's a yard sale. There's chitter chatter about traffic on this location. I do see businesses mention things. I see people make recommendations. What specifically have you seen restaurants do on Nextdoor?
I think a lot of what you mentioned, I think there's some back and forth recommendations that are great. I think the ads are typically what we're looking at. We place ads inside of Nextdoor. So it just gets that visibility that to, again, a different type of potential guest that's in a different type of headspace, right? They're going to Nextdoor to look for what happened to the neighbor's dog or something that was lost. And then they see your ad. And so it can break through because it's typically not where they would see a potential ad. And then obviously, the curating of the messaging and how that can, continue, because the way their ads are set up is pretty unique. There's a lot of copy. So you have a lot of opportunity to really communicate something different versus just, a typical type of social media ad.
Okay. Yeah, good. So if that's not on folks' radar, that's a good additional resource to put on the radar. Let me go to print for a second. The good old print. All right. Postcards in the mail. Things of that nature. It still happens. In fact, it's almost flipped the other way, where I look forward to going to my mailbox and what's in there.
Yeah.
What are you seeing in the print space?
Yeah, it's become very sophisticated, and I agree. I think it's funny how a lot of times these media tactics become cyclical, right? They like digital is sort of where it used to be and where it is today. And local marketing is completely finding its way back, and print in the same vein. And I think print has there's different options within print. There's more cost efficient options where, like the shared mail, where you can get mass circulation at a lower price point. Typically, obviously trying to create more just general awareness through that tactic versus going very direct based off of some significant data that you may have or the brand may have, and sending direct mails directly to those folks saying a specific message because they understand what that particular consumer might want to hear. That has some great redemption rates. And then there's the type of pieces too. There's all kinds of different substrates that are out there. There's, we work with a vendor called Dynamicard where they do a punch out, for example, and then you can put that in your wallet. It looks like a gift card. You can put it in your wallet and save it for later. So it's just come so far. And then there's a lot of data that you're getting on the back end as well. And so that's something that we really push our vendors on our marketplace, is we want to provide extra value to those that are placing orders. So if there's data, we have a section where we can drop that data into the plan that they've created so they can leverage that data in a variety of ways. So, for example, we have a vendor that does phone calls to businesses or schools. Well, they collect the data on who they talked to, what they said, the notes from the conversation. And that can be a real leg up if I'm a franchise owner and I get that data. And now I know that, Beverly is ready to order in February, so I better follow up in February, or make that physical connection and let her know that I am the actual owner. So there's a lot of opportunities that you can derive from collecting that data. So we pull all that data in and we give it back to the franchisees. In direct mail, there's data that they're collecting as well. And so it's not always just about redemption rates. It's about, hey, these were prospects, they've converted, and now they're more loyalty members. So they maybe go into your loyalty bucket, or they become lapsed. And so you create more segmentation opportunities to be more efficient down the road. So we're really pushing our vendors to execute and perform and then provide.
Yeah, two things that I can think to talk about. One, I was going to ask you a little bit about data, and we didn't touch on loyalty. So if you want to go there, please do. But yeah, the idea of if you don't capture the data, or people used to say, hey, I've done marketing, but I don't know if it's working. I got more business, but I don't know what it's from. How do you do some of that tracking? How can folks feel good about their spend? And again, if you can transition to loyalty piece as well. What do you think?
Yeah, that's a great question, and something we have thought a lot about. And obviously, as a marketer, you're continually challenged from that perspective, whether it's up from the franchisees and they're validating that it's worked on their level to any programs you're rolling out, system wide, that you have to prove to the C-suite that, yes, these are working and we need to continue to spend here. So what we've done in our platform is two things. One is with each vendor, we've asked the vendor to provide key performing index benchmarks. And so KPI benchmarks. So what do they consider to be a success based off of understanding their product and knowing, the type of product that's going to be in our marketplace? And then what happens is after the product is executed in market, they pull those KPIs and put them into our admin section, which we then push back to the portal so the franchisee or the marketing team can see the KPIs. And then we put a red, yellow, green next to it. So each tactic that we're executing, or that is a part of the plan that the vendor is executing, has a KPI benchmark. And then what was the actual result? And did it get a red, yellow, or green? So as a franchisee or a marketer, I can come into our plan section and I can see exactly what happened based off of the tactics that were in the plan. And I can see that, okay, in this location, these 3 tactics got green. So I think I want to keep doing those because those seem to be outperforming benchmarks. So that's one sort of dynamic that we've created. The other is that we have what we call an impact section on the platform where we connect to the point of sale data from the brand, and we pull that point of sale data into our platform. And this impact section is almost like an analytics page where we're looking at sales, we're looking at transactions, and we're looking at ticket to see what's happening on a daily basis. And as they're executing plans, what might the impact be? And you can filter that page a variety of different ways. You can look at individual locations. You can map it against the entire system. You can look at location versus location, market versus market, however you wanted to dissect that information. You can export all the data as well. You can use it in your PowerPoint presentations to your C-suite. You can dissect it. So a lot of the brands we're working with, they are limited in resources.
Yeah.
They are smaller brands, so might not have an analytics team. So this becomes a powerful feature inside of our platform that really helps them validate what they're doing, but also look at their business in general and be more strategic.
Yeah, I was going to say a lot of the stuff you're just talking about there with pulling data together and giving reports and giving scorecards and stuff that's not historically been available for folks. And then I was also going to say or make the point, do you feel like historically in your travels and in your working in the past that just planning is just not done enough? It's more like, hey, I hope people show up. I call it hope marketing. I hope people come this week. So is this really helping them get that planning piece done so that this happens? What do you think?
Yes, definitely. So part of what we're trying to do too. So we have another field marketer on my team, and her background is years of experience in field marketing, and so she's our customer service or customer experience representative, and she does an amazing job. But some of the things that she's been doing is pushing out communications to the marketing teams and the franchisees that are our clients, our current clients, and giving them insight. Like we just pushed one out for back to school. Hey, back to school is coming. It's time to start thinking about it. Here's the vendors in our marketplace that can help you with back to school. Here's, so some suggestive ideas based off of the time of year and the calendar. And so we continue to do those types of pushes just to sort of get people thinking and planning. And then we also do have a planning feature on our platform where marketing teams can go build out all their plans if they wanted to. But I think it's more important to understand the lead times it takes to do things, making sure that we're ahead of the game and making sure that, those critical times a year, especially from a local marketing and community marketing perspective, aren't passing people by without the opportunity to either create a plan, push it out to their system, execute the plans. You think of, teachers appreciation is a great one, or nurses appreciation, or, there's just times a year that make a lot of sense for local store marketing, as well as the vendors that we have in our marketplace.
Yeah. And we're all guilty of it. We get caught of, St. Patrick's Day or Valentine's Day. What do you mean that's next week? Oh, I totally forgot about it. There's all these things I would have liked to have done, but you gotta do the sequence. You can't pull it together in 2 days sometimes.
Yeah. Well, that's, you can't pull it together in 2 days. Now it's 2 clicks. Right. Yeah. So that's the key for Loma, is that, it took so much longer to think about the time of year, then go talk to the vendor, then plan it out, then get the creative, then send it to the vendor, then work through the execution. What are the results? Now it's literally 2 clicks in our marketplace and you place the order, and you don't have to think about it, because it gets executed on your behalf. The results are coming back in. You can see the results. It makes it so easy. And that's the whole premise and thesis of Loma.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think you summed it up pretty good right there. Thinking about it, anything else we didn't hit on as we wrap up? What do you think?
No, I think, overall, we're continuing to evolve the marketplace. We work with brands too, brands that may have vendors, they're already integrated in their system. We can add them into our marketplace. So again, it becomes this sort of one-stop shop for the marketing team, or, franchisees are used to ordering specific things. They can now order them in the marketplace, focused on that brand. So we're super excited. We launched this product. Loma launched about a year ago, and we were more focused on servicing more like we created plans for while we were building the marketplace. We created plans for brands and then worked directly with vendors to execute them, more service oriented. So we transitioned into this platform and launched it, I guess, late May, early June. And just have had some really good response from the brands that we were working with that have transitioned into the new platform, but also as we're talking to brands as well. So we're excited about it. We feel it's revolutionary. We think that this is changing the way people will place orders in the local marketing space, or marketers in general placing orders to execute, traffic driving initiatives. So we're excited.
Good. Yeah. Glad to learn about it. Brett, hit them with the website, social, anywhere else they should go to learn about you guys.
Yeah. lomaplatform.com is our website. We are on LinkedIn as well. You can, book a demo button on our website, which will push your information and we'll call you and get something scheduled.
Good. Awesome. All right. We hit a lot there. I appreciate it. Folks, Brett Campbell, co-founder and CMO at Loma. You can find them on the web at lomaplatform.com. For more great restaurant marketing, operations, service, people, and tech news, stay tuned to us here at runningrestaurants.com. In the meantime, do me a favor, please hit a like button to subscribe to us, give us a review, give us a feedback wherever you are listening. That is very helpful, and we appreciate that. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Thanks, Brett.
Thank you.